friends! This is Carly and I am back today with my first ever follow-up review. I need to take a moment to thank my subscribers Ben Allen, Thracian, and MelvaCross for commenting on my last Beastars Volume 3 review video and sharing their thoughts. For those of you who have watched my videos, you know that book clubbing, discussion, and exchange of ideas is huge to me and the whole reason that I started this channel to begin with. Not just to review, but to have a community of people who I can talk to about the stuff that I love. And these 3 subscribers really engage in a way that lets that happen for me, and I'm so grateful to them for pointing out some things that they saw in my last video that they were interested in me discussing further or disagreed with. So I'm really appreciative of that. I'm appreciative of anyone who shares a comment, and whether it's you disagree with what I've said or you agree, it doesn't all have to be 100% in line with what I think. I like to hear other opinions as well. So thank you to those 3 subscribers for sharing their comments, and because of their comments, I have a whole new opinion and I'm going to share that with you here today. So in Volume 3, the very first thing I'm going to talk about was something that I just absolutely missed. It completely went over my head. I got into what I thought about this character and let myself just run with it and missed some really critical things in the source material. And that is how I felt about the character of Legum the hen. And the thing that I overlooked, which is a huge point in my discussion on her, me feeling that it was really sad that she was just selling off her eggs instead of incubating them, was that as a high schooler, a young woman, she has no roosters. And hens lay eggs whether or not they have a rooster to fertilize their eggs. So her eggs were eggs that she would have laid anyway, and because she has no rooster, they were not fertilized. So it really sort of changes everything that I felt, almost everything that I felt initially about Legum's place in the book and why that story was shared. So the fact that she would have laid eggs anyway and was sort of getting obsessed with this process of laying the best eggs and selling them and was sort of obsessed with this part-time job, I see now that that was actually an interjection into the story that was supposed to bring a little levity. And it did in a lot of ways. It was kind of just a funny little aside. However, I did still feel, after I read it the second time, a little bit sad for Legum, because she actually says that the reason that she lays her eggs is for herself because it gives her life a sense of purpose. But here we are, she's a high schooler at Cherryton Academy, a second year I believe, although I'm not sure that they say, but she's in one of Legoshi's classes, in a world where, for all intents and purposes that we know, these students can grow to become anything they want to, which is sort of the idea that's encapsulated by the notion of a Beastar, that you can rise as an herbivore above all of these challenges that face you and become a senator or a politician. So we know the world of high-level careers exists in this world, at least in a very general way we know that, and it still did really kind of make me sad that Legum is finding her life's purpose at this point, at this young age, in just making some money off of her eggs. But I do want to thank, again, the people who commented and said, hey, wait a minute, you missed this huge glaring point, because I absolutely did. And when I reread back, it really sort of lightened everything up for me. It made me realize that with what was coming up and what happened before, that little bit of levity was pretty necessary, just because everything else around it was so dark. So the second point that was pointed out to me, and this one I understand where the comment was coming from, but I still kind of stand behind what I said. And this point was that Bill the tiger had never been to the black market before, and that's why he was so excited to participate in the activity that he did, and that the commenter didn't necessarily believe that this was something that he had done in the past. And I might have glazed over this and not stated it properly, but I did realize that this was his first time being at the black market. It was the first time for all of them. But the difference between the way that Bill behaves with what they are presented with and the way that Legoshi behaves with what they're presented with is what I actually meant to talk about. While the dosing with the bunny blood may have been the first time ever that Bill had that opportunity or tried it, for him, when the opportunity presented itself, he immediately was ready to act, even though that is illegal. So he was only fulfilling his role as a carnivore who doesn't eat meat or consume herbivore blood because it was the law and he hadn't had an opportunity yet. But as soon as the opportunity presented itself, he jumped on it quite literally. And so that point of character was really what I was trying to point out, and I might not have done that 100% clearly, but I do think that now that Bill knows about this place, I don't think it'll be the last time that he goes. And the sort of the point of the law of not consuming herbivore blood doesn't seem to have landed with him. He's only suppressing his instincts because he'll get in trouble if he doesn't, but as soon as the opportunity arises to do that, he's going to take it. Whereas we see that Legoshi fights it so hard that he actually almost passes out as he's escaping that situation. So thank you for pointing out that I wasn't 100% clear, and let me know if this clarifies what I was trying to say before a little bit better. And the final thing was something that was pointed out to me, and that was a difference in the art style from volume 1 to volume 3. So I'm going to show the example pages and character designs that were pointed out. And the first of those is in volume 1, and it's a scene with Legoshi and what is the I think it's Jack. I hope that's right, the Labrador. So let's, hopefully I can get this zoomed in correctly. Yeah. Okay, so here are images of these characters in volume 1. I think really you get the best looks at them, Jack and Legoshi, in the center volume, or the center panel on this page, and the bottom panels. And then here in, let's see, volume 3, let's see, make sure we get in. So we're talking about their design here. So for me, yes, I do see the lengthening of the snouts. I see some differences in the shadowing and the overall detail that was put in each volume. But there's a couple reasons why I think this doesn't bother me. The first image is a very shadowy sort of, I think that there's a lot of shadow in these pictures creating mood. The angles are very different. We've got some top down that we're looking at. We've got some from a distance that has sort of a lack of detail all around because the conversation is more important there. So, and even the lengthening of the snouts over here, we're looking at sort of a different angle in volume 3 over here. And when we look at this image right here, please focus right here. I think that overall the head-on look, which we didn't get in this picture, but is very similar to me. So I do notice the specific slight differences, but I don't really notice that consistently I felt that the artwork was terribly different from volume 1 to volume 3. I know that there is the writer is the artist on all of these, and of course they have assistants. So I think that maybe it's possible that after the first volume got picked up and it had to go into production, maybe with the help of assistants, things polished up and tightened up a little bit more, whereas the first volume might have just been her rough work. That's a possibility. It could just be the evolution of the series. Things like that happen. And it could be trying to convey particular moods and particular scenes overall. Or maybe she just got better at what she was doing. But while I do notice a few little things, I feel like the overall tone for me doesn't change enough and the overall character design isn't off enough for it to really stand out. But I thought that was really interesting that you noticed that, and it made me look back at the book much more critically at the artwork and see how I felt about it. So I really appreciated that opportunity. So those are the main things that were pointed out to me from my last video that I wanted to respond to. And again, I wanted to thank those users who, I'm going to say your names again, Ben Allen, Thracian, and MelvaCross, so much for pointing those out to me, because this is what this channel is really all about for me. Engaging with people who share the same interests that I do, who like the things that I like, and just enjoying those things together. So with that said, the future of the book club is still strong, and I'm getting ready to go forward with that. I think that what I'm going to look at doing is adding a meeting account, a sort of account where we can all video chat together. If it's a small group of people, that's great. If it gets bigger over time, I can figure out a better solution. But there is Zoom chat, there's a Skype option, there's a few different options there. So I'm really going to look into that, because I really sort of like the idea of reading and then live face-to-face talking about what we see, so that it's a little bit more personal and we can sort of each have a chance to share our thoughts. So please let me know what you guys think about that. If you're interested in participating, if you know any great software that I could use to get that going, because I'm ready to go. I'm going to get it started as soon as possible, and hopefully some of you will participate with me. So thanks again to everyone for watching my videos. Thanks to everyone who engages with my content, whether it's a comment, disagreeing, agreeing, a compliment, a suggestion, a like, even a dislike. I just really appreciate that you take the time out of your life to look at what I'm creating and say something about it. So thanks so much, friends, for watching this follow-up, my first ever. I hope there will be many more, and I hope that we engage in conversations together a lot more in the future. Have a great day, and stay tuned for a lot more videos coming up soon. Bye, friends.